welcome back,
Welcome back.
loyal listeners.
Yes. We're back. One of us just finished a midterm.
The last video actually got a lot of views.
That's good.
Well, not a lot. It's 74. 74.
That's more than I expected people to listen to us for like 45 minutes. So, shout out.
They didn't all listen for 45 minutes. About average was 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Nice. Okay.
That's a retention rate. Yeah. They chime in at the end and at the start. See what we're talking about, see what we finish it with.
Okay, we're gonna make this half an hour.
Half an hour.
Yeah.
More concise.
Yes. Even though I could talk about this movie for a really long time. No, we're not. Okay? This is where we're laying down the law and saying it's gonna be
I'm gonna follow you, because I feel like you have a lot to say about this. I have some okay, I'm deciding about how much I want to expose about myself.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. This
podcast is not rated PG.
Oh, no.
Parents, do not watch past this point, please. Just don't. I know you guys don't watch my videos, but don't watch this one
in particular.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So I guess I'm going full exposed.
Yeah. So I guess like what you gathered from that is that Booksmart, directed by...
Well, introduce the movie.
Yeah,
introduce the movie.
Booksmart, 2019, directed by Olivia Wilde, who's actually an actor, but I think this is her
first directorial role.
Directorial debut. Yeah. And it's a coming-of-age high school comedy, basically. Yeah, so what I wrote in my notes is underlined why Booksmart earned a coveted spot in my top 3 high school movies list. Yeah. Ooh. So you know, like how last time we talked about the half of it and we were both so disappointed and underwhelmed. I feel like this redeemed all high school movies for me. And it was like such the perfect contrast to that garbage heap of a movie. But yeah.
Okay, I feel like you're over-exaggerating how bad it was.
Okay, fine.
It wasn't
that bad, but like it was.
The half of it wasn't that bad. It wasn't great.
Yeah, it was more like, you know how like your mom when she's really disappointed is like, I'm not mad, I'm disappointed. It was more like that, because I felt like they had so much potential, and it was that's such a waste.
It did have a lot of potential.
Yeah, you know. There's so much hype and whatever, but...
It didn't have any payoffs. This one had payoffs.
Yeah, this one had character arcs.
Everything came around. Great film language.
Ooh.
Like, they knew when to cut and when not to cut. And why use multiple shots when you can just use one? It was, beautiful. Efficiency.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, and it just felt so, like... It like, propelled you forward. There was, like, a sense of movement.
Yeah.
Which is really nice. I mean, like, they weren't in the same place more than once, I think. They were, like...
I don't think so. Yeah, they were... They start off at... Oh, but one thing I like, they start off at the school and they end off at the school.
Yeah, that's true. But at different places in the school, too.
Yeah, because they're at different points now.
Yeah.
They grew character development, which... Booksmart. I mean, which the half of it didn't have.
Yeah, and like I never really considered that, but the idea of even though this takes place effectively in like one 24-hour period, there's a sense of like the 3-act structure, and there's a sense of like I wouldn't say the hero's journey because that doesn't really. I guess a tiny little bit.
No, there's a crossing the threshold where they're going into the party, and Jared's their guardian at first, and then he. Is it the guardian? The old wise man. He's the old wise man who guides them in and then takes them to the wrong place. But he gets them drugged by accident. Yeah. Because it's Gigi.
I love Gigi.
I love Jared and Gigi.
Yeah. They're so interesting.
They're so great. They're so great. My first note on this movie is I love Jared because he's in the first scene. And he walks in and he's so cringy. Okay, one of my gripes with high school movies is that characters never look like they're in high school.
Oh, yeah.
In this movie, though, like, I'd say, like, 4 or 5 characters looked like they were in high school. The rest looked like adults. But at least the main characters looked like they were in high school.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. It could be a lot worse.
It wasn't that bad. Could be. The thing is, Nick looked 40.
Nick!
The love interest for Molly?
Yeah.
He looked
pretty old, not gonna lie. But you know what? His boyish sense of humor carried him through the movie.
Hufflepuff crossed with... not Hufflepuff. Ravenclaw crossed with Slytherin.
Yeah. But you know what? Like, okay. Actually, I really like the characters. I thought, like, you mentioned Jared and Gigi. And the thing that I love most about the way that they fleshed out these characters is they're allowed to be weird and cringy, and they don't need to apologize for it. But they also, like, they're also super complex. Because, like, we're introduced to Jared, he's like, oh, he's that kid, like, teacher's pet, and nobody likes him.
He's the rich kid.
Yeah. But then you realize, oh, he's actually kind of, like, lost, and he's really well-meaning, but he doesn't really know how to make friends. And just, like, who doesn't relate a little bit to that? I mean, to a certain extent, I guess. And he's just,
And I like how, at the end, like, he obviously kind of liked Molly at the start. But she liked Nick at the start. But at the end, they end up together because she sees his true depth, character depth. Like, he's not just the shallow one-note guy. Yeah. He's a real person.
He's a real boy.
Oh, that's Molly's arc. What I wrote about Molly at the start of the movie is that she's annoying as shit.
Oh, damn. Okay.
She's, oh my gosh. She's the person I would hate in high school. I mean, she's me in high school. Like, she thinks they're better than everyone. She's all like, oh, I'm going to this university. Yeah. And she just looks down upon everyone.
Yeah.
And I wrote, she needs to get over herself. Which is what happens. She learns to relate to the people. And yeah.
Yeah, and, like, even with, like, Annabelle, aka Triple A, she also has that moment of, like, she realizes that...
Roadside assistant.
That's so sad. But, you know, like,
that's
in
so
the same
sad.
way that her character also gets a little bit of redemption, like, she gets to clear her name, I guess, and to actually say, like, yeah, like, she's been called a slut throughout all of high school, but is that really merited? Like, no, obviously not. And she's more than just, like, this nickname of hers and whatever. Yeah, you know what I found really, really funny and really, really relatable is, like, the fact that one scene in the beginning when Molly has a freak out because she realized that she could have done both, like, she could have partied and gotten good grades in school.
Oh, did you have that moment?
Yeah, this is why I find Molly really, really relatable, too. And then she, like, goes around to everyone asking, like, what schools they're going to, and everyone's just, like, these Ivy League colleges, and then she, like, melts, has a meltdown.
Okay, in reality, that's really unrealistic, but it serves a purpose in the story.
No, but, you know what? I sort of disagree, because I feel like, okay, so I go to Waterloo, and that's where all the, like, super smart people are, like, top of their class or whatever, and, like, they're genuinely, like, funny and goofy and dumb people, too, and so I feel like, obviously they worked hard in school, but they also, like, goofed off like these kids, and I was like, oh, that's so true, because, like, you're not just one person, you're not just defined by, oh, I'm, like, the nerd, you know?
I go to Trinity College at U of T, and everyone there is so smart, but it's weird. Like, they're two-faced. I feel like they weren't like this in high school. I feel like everybody there was bullied in high school.
Ooh.
They're all like I got 100% average. I'm so out of place there. I barely passed grade 12.
Oh, come on.
No, literally, my marks dropped 20% from first semester to second semester. Oof. I gave up. I didn't show up to school second semester. You remember that?
Wow, this is very exposing of yourself. But okay.
No, that's what I said. So, they're all so two-faced because they party so hard, but then they turn around the next day and then they go give, like, a presentation to the whole university, and then get, like, a 4.0 in their class, and then do, like, a research thing. And I feel like those people, if they were in high school, would be the characters in this movie.
Yeah. So, basically, it's pretty realistic, I guess, is what you're trying to say.
Fine.
We're very resentful.
Okay. I'll let you have that one.
We're really, really resentful, but I guess it's true.
Because I couldn't do it. Okay, no, okay. My high school experience wasn't that bad. I feel like I did stuff within limit,
Uh-huh.
but I always kind of felt like I had to stick up my ass. Like I was the straight guy. Gotta be the good guy in the situation. So like if I go to a party, I'd stay away from everything and try to kind of like be a wallflower. But I'd also like mingle with everyone. But I never really went to many parties. Like real parties, not like the not like your parties.
What? Mine were the best, okay? Because intellectual conversation and tea. Okay, I don't want to drink beer in someone's basement.
Drugs and alcohol.
Not trying to.
No, those are so. See, this is so. I don't think I would have had fun like partying through high school. That's not my type of fun.
That's true.
Really.
But you know what? I think watching this movie was strangely cathartic because, I think, yeah, obviously I didn't really go to any house parties in high school. It just wasn't really my scene. But you know what? I relate. I relate to that feeling of just wanting to not miss out and just like, it's our last night of high school, just do something really crazy. I like that. It's cathartic. I think it's like oddly relatable, but not that I would do it, but like I feel that drive and desire, I guess, a little bit. Yeah, okay. So like
Oh, one thing I relate to while we're still on the topic of relating is when Miss Fine said that she's glad that they're partying now because she went too hard in their 20s. Oh, feels bad.
Man.
First.
Yeah.
I think I went too hard, even though I didn't party much. Like I did all my work, I did everything, but I wasn't me, I went too hard in a different direction.
Yeah. But you know what?
Exposing myself.
You can edit this out, right? It's up to you. But yeah.
I'll have to talk to the producer.
But yeah, I love like how all the side characters are really interesting, even though like Miss Fine is in the movie for maybe like 10 to 15 minutes, but like she's so interesting and so funny.
It's the little details which make this movie great.
Details.
Like Jared's car says F-boy on the back. And Theo and Miss Fine.
Oh man.
There's so much attention to detail in this movie.
Yeah, and it just makes it feel like a really, really immersive and realistic, which is, yeah, it's great.
The world feels lived in.
Yes, yeah. I like that about that. I like it about that.
It doesn't feel like they're on a set with, oh, sorry.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, go on.
I was just going to compare it to the half of it where all the background characters are just background characters.
Yeah, that's sad.
Who serve no purpose.
Yeah. What I got from watching the movie is like there was a really good balance between planning, like as you said, like the attention to detail. I also really like that doll sequence when like super high on drugs. Oh, that's so clever.
I love the doll sequence.
There's a good balance between
dolls.
There's like a good balance between attention to detail and careful construction and writing and stuff, and also like cute little improvisation. Like you can tell that the cast is super comfortable with each other and they actually know each other, and they're really good actors, even though I believe not all of them are actually professional actors. But yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah. It just felt really natural and it felt like it flowed.
It did feel.
Yeah. Which is credit to the cast and the director, obviously. But yeah. I also the top point on my notes is gushing about how it's a story of female friendship, and I wrote hilariously accurate, not cheesy, lots of heart. Yeah. I mean, okay, so you're a fan of Superbad. Okay, they said in an interview that was like
you cut out, sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's a story of female friendship. And there's an interview where like Beanie and Caitlin, who are the main actors in the movie, were asked like, what do you feel about being compared to Superbad? Which is, they essentially have like the same plot, and it's also a story of friendship, but obviously like male friendship. You know about Superbad more than me. What are your thoughts on that comparison, I guess?
I think it's a fair comparison, honestly. This is like the sisterhood version of the brotherhood in Superbad. The characters kind of go through the similar arcs of how one character, which happens to be the Jonah Hill character and Jonah Hill's sister both happen to be the controlling ones to their thinner white friend, who's thin, lanky white friend. And then eventually they learn to get over themselves, and the friendship's better for it in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
also the party hopping and the antics.
Yeah.
That's basically the same too.
Yeah.
But it's cool. Like, guys had Superbad, now girls can have this.
But you know what? Okay. I think it's a... Yeah. I mean, sort of like the actors, I was a little bit conflicted on this too, because obviously Superbad is like a classic and super iconic and well known, so I think Booksmart gets like a
Booksmart's
boost.
like an instant classic.
Yeah, like they're both like classics in that way. So I guess like it's good for Booksmart to have that comparison, because like they're both as good. They're both like really funny and interesting, and well loved. But on the other hand,
I think they really represent the times they came out in. Like,
yeah,
Booksmart's very 2010s, and the other one, say it.
Booksmart?
Superbad.
Oh,
Superbad.
Like, where should I go with this?
I forgot what Superbad was for a second. Superbad is very early 2000s.
Yeah. I mean, okay. So that's the good part. I guess like the sort of part that I was like, I don't know if we should really compare the two, is like, I find that when movies feature like main female characters, like movies that feature female characters predominantly, things like Little Women or like Birds of Prey, I don't know, like any movie like that.
Have you seen Birds of Prey?
I have not. Okay, cool. But
well, it's okay. Don't want to hype it up.
But I think like sometimes they get cornered or like put into a box of like, this is a female film, and I guess like sometimes it turns off male audiences, which like, can you imagine growing up and obviously like, okay, if I think about iconic like movies for youth, I think of, I don't know, like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, like I don't know, like, okay, if you think about all these like super famous movie franchises,
Hunger Games.
Okay, that goes against my point, but I mean like
Allegiant. Divergent.
Okay, what about like pre-2010s? Pre-2010, like 10s, and I was like Percy Jackson. Anyways, my point being like
okay, go on.
My point being like, if you're growing up as a young girl, like I immediately identify with like all these male protagonists, right? Because they're just everywhere. Like I identified with like Percy Jackson or Harry Potter. But then we got this like wave of like female-led books and films, and I feel like it's really important to have that kind of I hate to say representation because I know that there's a lot involved in that, but representation, because you know what?
Ooh.
Female stories deserve to be told too, and I
cringe.
But listen.
Okay, so.
But like, yeah, I think that it's super important for young boys and girls and like all kids to grow up seeing both types of narratives, because they are intrinsically different. Like there's a different way that a female protagonist versus a male protagonist deals with the challenges that they have in their stories. I think both perspectives are really valuable.
Okay, so I understand that female movies are more ubiquitous now, but there were female-led movies back then. I like that they're more popular now. Like there are more movies, obviously, but there's like Pan's Labyrinth, True Grit, stuff like that.
I haven't seen any of those.
Yeah, I know. They're great female-led movies, female child-led movies, which for some reason were just overlooked by a lot of people.
Yeah.
But actually, no, they weren't. They're Oscar nominated and winning.
Yeah, I
guess they just weren't as easy to access for younger kids.
Yeah.
Like, I only recently watched them.
Yeah. So, that sort of leads into why it's nice that Booksmart is being called an instant classic. Because I think it is. Like, no matter if you identify with them or not, with the protagonists in any way, like, it's still refreshing and nice to see a kind of story that's like about female friendship, and it's about just like young women kicking ass and doing their own thing. I like that.
Taking names. Taking no prisoners, as Molly's wall says.
Yeah, and the depiction of their friendship is so good. It's so funny, it's so accurate. Like the opening sequence of them like dancing before they get in the car to go to school is like, oh my God, yes. Like I have done not obviously like not exactly, but I really felt that. I love that so much. And yeah, like they grew together. The character arcs are so good. And I love that when they were arguing, they were still listening to each other and they still like respected each other.
I like how in the argument they completely cut out the speech at one point and just let the music play, so you could just see the actors acting, kind of, and understand what's going on. Because you didn't really the semantics of their argument wasn't important.
Yeah.
It was just about that they were arguing, and this is the point in their relationship, which is bad.
Yeah. I felt like they used music really well. And like sound design and stuff, even though I don't really know much about I don't know much about that. I really
liked the licensed songs. The licensed music in it was magnifique. It suited it perfectly. It didn't try to like choose a specific time period to be in. It was just like general upbeat tunes. It wasn't like top 40 pop hits, which is great.
Yeah.
Which most teen movies for some reason do.
Yeah, which it dates them, I guess. It makes them less relevant later on. That's true.
And that's why this is a classic. It can't be dated.
Yeah. Yes. I love that it's so clearly from 2019, but also it's vague enough that it could still be enjoyed like 10 years from now and not feel like it's old or out of touch. Because like there's a lot of just like slang that also, is familiar, but yeah, the music thing too.
Characters for once don't use flip phones in the movie, which is for some reason I noticed that just now. Have you noticed in every Marvel movie they still use flip phones up until like Endgame? They're all using flip phones.
I never noticed that.
Like has their telephones. It's so weird. I don't know why they still do that in Hollywood. I guess it's just more. I guess it's easier. Maybe, I don't know. But they had normal phones.
Yeah, and I think that'll still be relevant from like 5-10 years from now, so yeah.
Okay, in my notes it says, this movie is Shakespearean. And I remember exactly when that happened. It was when the second time Gigi randomly showed up. She just popped out of a bush. And my note under that is, Gigi is the all-knowing fool.
Ooh.
She's like a Shakespeare character. She seems like she's the dumbest person there, but she knows everything that's going on. She's pervasive. She's just everywhere.
Yes, I know. And yeah, I just love that she just is unexplained. Okay, Jared explains a little bit, but I mean, you kind of just...
She's a sad person.
But yeah, does that really explain anything? I just like that she was given free reign to do whatever she wanted in every scene, and like she stole every scene.
Okay. I really like the end with Jared and Molly at the party when they're talking, and Jared talks about how he wants to design airplanes.
Yeah.
That's such a tiny detail, right? Because at the start of the movie, she mentions that she has her nightmare is being Sully trying to land a plane filled with hundreds of people. And he wants to design planes, and she dreams about planes.
Oh my gosh, I never noticed that. That's so cute.
Yeah. Oh, another really funny sequence was the pornography sequence.
Oh man, that's for principal.
The Lyft driver principal. he reacted, is that Cardi B? It was so funny.
Yeah. Let's see, like, that's such good humor. It's so, like, it's smart. I don't know. Like, not, that wasn't particularly smart, but I mean, like, the timing is so good that it's so funny. Yeah. I have a question for you. Okay, I'm just gonna presume that Booksmart isn't, like, your top, I don't know, 5 to 10 high school movies, but do you have any other like classic favorites? High school movies that this would join?
Well,
the Legion.
It's gotta go with the classics a bit, you know, Ferris Bueller's Day Off,
yes,
Breakfast Club. Those have to be up there. What else is a really good high school movie? Uh, what's a good
Lady
high school movie?
Bird.
Lady
Lady
Bird. Oh
Bird.
yeah, Lady Bird's great.
Oh my
Lady
god, I
Bird's
love
great.
Lady Bird.
I can't think of any. Name some.
Insert
Oh,
John Hughes movie
yeah, just
here.
16 Candles. Why are those the
I
only high
haven't
school
seen
movies
that.
I know? I don't know any recent high school movies.
Yeah, wait, hold up. High School Musical.
High School
Wait, we talked
Musical.
about this before.
Yes.
You're like High School Musical 2.
High School Musical 2, then High School Musical 1,
Yeah.
then High School Musical 3.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. Clueless. Oh my god, I'm looking at a
no,
list.
okay.
Clueless is super
Clueless
good.
is super good, but they don't look like they're in high school at all. They look like they're 35.
Yeah, and I would also say like the high school
doesn't
part is
focus
kind
on high
of
school.
like, yeah. Mean Girls.
Mean Girls also, they don't look
Ooh,
like they're in high
classic.
school. I felt like they were in college for some reason. Well, because it was filmed at
But they
U of T.
acted. Was it
Yeah.
actually? Oh, but they acted like high school kids for sure.
They acted like
Dead
what? Sorry?
Poet Society.
Dead
High school
Poets.
kids.
Yeah, Dead Poet Society.
Dead Poet Society. Wow, crazy.
It's a pretty good movie, but you know, my friend John pointed out some pretty cringe things about it, but it's okay.
No, I love Dead Poet Society. But anyways, so yes, Booksmart joins the legion of these
Legion.
amazing movies. The Legion, yes, the
Oh.
Hall of Fame.
Okay, one thing I wanted to quickly mention before we end
Yes.
this, because we're ending this soon,
Uh-huh.
that I really like the scene, without spoiling too much, where Amy sees something happen, and then she's just like drifting through the party, looking for her friend, and it conveys that feeling of just floating through a party, really being disconnected from it, like you're not supposed to be there. And
Uh-huh.
I don't know how they did it so well. I guess it was like with the camera movement and the one shot from the outside to
Sound
the
design.
inside. Yeah, the sound design where everything was muted.
Yeah.
It was so great, and that was just before like Amy and her friend do their thing.
Yeah.
Fight, yeah, before the fight. Yeah, it was really
Yeah.
very
Like
intelligent.
great
filmmaking.
cinematography. Yeah. Intelligent filmmaking. You feel like in competent hands when you watch this movie, which is like a really high compliment
Dope ass
for me.
lighting. Dope ass lighting. Lighting.
Pardon?
The lighting was so magnifique. Oh, I said that again. I don't know any other French words. What's another French word for cool or awesome?
Formidable.
I can't say that. That's
Chouette.
The lighting was so chouette.
Yes. Yeah, the lighting was good. So like all the technical stuff plus all like the writing and cast, like the intangible stuff. Yeah, you gotta watch this. I'm giving this 7 out of 7.
I'm giving this a watch this. You gotta watch it.
Ooh,
Right now.
we're switching,
Yeah, we're switching,
rating
yeah.
systems.
This is the most high school movie, or one of the most high school movies.
In the best way
The best
possible.
way possible.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay,
I'm ending it there.
tune in next time.
That was
Bye.
good. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm out of fucks to give.
You poor bitch.